press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Namaste children. In our last class we discussed about classification of human neural system. So before that we discussed that in our body different organs will do their different specific functions by coordinating to each other to maintain homeostasis. So what is homeostasis? It's nothing but the ability of an organism to maintain constant internal environment irrespective to any changes in the external environment. That state is called homeostasis. For that I gave you this example, that is thermoregulation. So thermoregulation antandre maintaining constant internal body temperature. So we human beings are able to maintain constant internal body temperature in and around 37 degrees Celsius. So yav riti andre during summer we sweat more to release excess of heat produced in the body to outside to the environment. Hagene during rainy and winter season we wear sweaters and also we'll go for bisi uta, bisi coffee, tea tagotivi. For what? Again to maintain constant internal body temperature. So this is nothing but homeostasis. Then we discussed classification of human neural system. So it is divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Under central nervous system again it is divided into brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system is again divided into somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. So this somatic nervous system controls voluntary functions of our body, whereas autonomic nervous system controls involuntary functions of our body. Again the autonomic nervous system is classified into sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic increases the functions of an organ when demand increases. Suppose while doing physical exercise, the function of heart, respiratory rate, everything is going to be increased to provide necessary ATP molecules to the muscles to do the physical exercises. So during that time the functions of our body will be increased by sympathetic nervous system. Once the doing physical exercise is stopped, then the function has to come to normal state. So that is done by parasympathetic nervous system. So sympathetic increases the functions of an organ when demand increases. Hage parasympathetic decreases the functions of an organ when demand decreases. So this all we discussed in our last class. Today we will discuss structure of neuron and types of neuron and neuroglia cells. We know that nervous tissue is made up of two types of cells. One is neuron, another one is neuroglia cells. So today we will discuss about the structure of neuron and types of neuron and also types of neuroglia cells. I will draw the diagram. So this diagram will come for 5 marks for your PU exams. So you should learn to draw this diagram. This is myelin sheath. So these are cells, granules. So we know that neuron is considered as structural and functional unit of nervous system. Is a structural and functional unit of nervous system. So this neuron is divided into three parts. One to cell body, dendrites and axon. So the neuron is divided into three parts. One is cell body, dendrites and axon. So this is dendrites. This one is cell body, or it is called cyton or soma or pericardium. Then we see centrally situated nucleus. Then these dotted regions are Nizel's granules. Then this elongated one is axon. The blue color one is myelin sheath. And these are Schwann cells. and junction between Schwann cells are nodes of Granvier. Branches of axon is telodendria, and these are synaptic knobs. This is structure of neuron. This is multipolar neuron. What I have written here is structure of multipolar neuron. So, the structure of neuron is divided into three parts. One, cell body, dendrites and axon. So, the cell body, it is oval or spherical in shape. The cell body is also called cyton, soma or perikaryon. So, it contains centrally situated nucleus and it is surrounded by a granules called Nissls granules. So, these Nissls granules are also called tigroid bodies. They are also called tigroid bodies. They are nothing but ribosomes attached to endoplasmic reticulum. So, main function is to synthesis protein. Nissls granules are nothing but ribosomes attached to endoplasmic reticulum and they synthesize proteins. And this cell body is surrounded by a membrane called neurolemma. That means plasma membrane of the cell body is called neurolemma. Plasma membrane of the cell body is called neurolemma. Again, cytoplasm of the cell body is called neuroplasm. Cytoplasm of cell body is called neuroplasm. Inside this cytoplasm or neuroplasm, we see Nissls granules and uninucleate, that is single centrally situated nucleus is present. Arising from this cell body, we see branches called dendrites and axon. And this cell body contains all cellular organelles except centrioles. So, the cell body contains all cellular organelles except centrioles. That you have to keep in your mind for your competitive exams. Centrioles are absent in cell body, whereas neurofibrils and other cellular organelles are present. Neurofibrils and other cellular organelles are present. So, inside the cell body, centrioles are absent. Neurofibrils and other cellular organelles are present. These neurofibrils mainly helps in conduction of impulse. That means to carry impulse from one region to another region. Impulse is nothing but information. So, these neurofibrils helps to carry information in the form of nerve impulse from one region to another region. So, in the cell body, centrioles are absent, neurofibrils and other cellular organelles are present. So, arising from the cell body, we see two types of processes. Smaller branches are called dendrites and long one is called axon. So these dendrites again they branch, see here, again they branch to increase the surface area of cyton, and these dendrites always carry information towards the cell body. Dendrites will carry information, all the dendrites will carry information towards the cell body. The one process which is long arising from the cell body is called axon. The region from where this axon arises, that region is axon hillock. Axon hillock, and this axon is surrounded by a myelin sheath. So this is axon. Same way the plasma membrane covering the axon, this is axon. The plasma membrane covering the axon is called axolemma. Again, cytoplasm inside the axon is called axoplasm. This axonoma is covered by a sheath of myelin. This deposition of lipoprotein. This is a myelin sheath which acts as a insulator. This is myelin sheath. Myelin sheath, and around this we see a cell called squam cells. We see a cells called squam cells. Okay. So axon is a long process which arises from the cell body. It is surrounded by a myelin sheath and also squam cells. Between the axon myelin sheath is now, it is interrupted. Madhya ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, myelin sheath is interrupted. So that region is nodes of Ranvier. That region is nothing but nodes of Ranvier. And this axon at the end branches to form telodendria, and the telodendria ends in a bulb-like structure called synaptic knobs which contain mitochondria and secretory vesicles. That means they contain neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters means they transfer information from one neuron to another neuron. So these synaptic knobs contain mitochondria. The mitochondria it provides ATP molecules, and they contain neurotransmitters like acetylcholine. This is about structure of neuron. Axon carry information away from the cyton, whereas dendrites carry information towards the cyton. The structure of neuron is divided into three parts: cell body, dendrites and axon. Cell body is spherical or oval in shape. It is having a membrane called plasma membrane called neurolemma and cytoplasm called neuroplasm. So inside the neuroplasm we see centrally placed nucleus and granules called Nissls granules. These Nissls granules are nothing but ribosomes attached to endoplasmic reticulum. Main function is synthesis of protein. Then arising from the cell body we see smaller branches called dendrites. Again they branch to increase the surface area of cell body, and these dendrites carry message towards the cell body. Only one process, one long process arises from the cell body at a region called axon hillock, and this axon, the plasma membrane covering the axon is called axolemma. Cytoplasm inside it is called axoplasm. It is surrounded by a sheath called myelin sheath. It is interrupted at a region, that region is called nodes of Ranvier, and we see a cells called squam cells, and these squam cells mainly helps in the formation of myelin sheath, and this axon ends and it branches at its terminal end, giving rise to telodendria, and the telodendria ends with a knob-like structure called synaptic knobs, which contain mitochondria and neurotransmitters like acetylcholine. This is about structure of neuron. Length mark को देखने हो, dendrites carry information towards the cell body, whereas axon carry information away from the cell body. So next we will go for types of neuron. So based on number and processes, classification So based on number and processes from cell body, we have three types of neurons, that is unipolar, bipolar and multipolar. So unipolar means it is having only one processes, that is axon. See, uni means single. One process will arise from the cell body, that is unipolar. This type of neurons are seen in nervous system of embryo. It is seen in nervous developing embryo. It is seen in nervous system of developing embryo. Bipolar, bi means what? Two processes will arise from the cell body. So one is dendrite, another one is axon. Here we see only the axon. Here we see dendrite, one axon. In bipolar neurons seen in nerves of retina of eyes. Seen in nerves of retina of eyes. So by two processes, one is dendrite, another one is axon arising from the cell body. This type of neurons we see in nerves of retina of eyes. And multipolar, multipolar means many processes will arise from the cell body. So like this. So we see many dendrites and one axon in multipolar neuron. This you see in cerebral cortex of this type of nerves are we see in cerebral cortex. So this is about classification of neurons based on their number and processes from cell body. Unipolar, single processes arising from the cell body seen in nervous system of embryo. Bipolar, we see one dendrite and one axon arising from the cell body seen in nerves of retina of eyes. And multipolar, we see many branches arising from the cell body. In that smaller branches are dendrites and one long branch is axon seen in nerves of cerebral cortex. Here we have ಇದು ಮೇನ್ ಆಗಿ 3 types ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. This they have given in your textbook, whereas other 2 are there based on processes. ಒಂದು apolar, just to know ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಕ್ಕಷ್ಟೇ. apolar ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? absence of processes. A means absence of processes, they don't have any dendrites or axon. So information ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ radiate ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. This type of cells we see in hydra. And pseudo unipolar. Pseudo unipolar ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ from the cell body you see one process arising, but after arising it again that axon divided into smaller process. So this is nothing but pseudo unipolar seen in the dorsal root ganglia of from dorsal root ganglia to spinal cord. Pseudo means false. ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಯೂನಿಪೋಲಾರ್ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಬಾಡಿಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಟ್ ಬ್ರಾಂಚಸ್, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೂಡೋ ಯೂನಿಪೋಲಾರ್. ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ನರ್ವ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಸಿ ಇನ್ ಡಾರ್ಸಲ್ ರೂಟ್ ಗ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಲಿಯಾ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಪೈನಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಷ್ಟೇ, ಬಟ್ ಮೇನ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಅಬೌಟ್ ಯೂನಿಪೋಲಾರ್, ಬೈಪೋಲಾರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪೋಲಾರ್. ದೆನ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ functions, so we have again 3 types of neurons, that is sensory neurons or afferent neurons. Another one is motor neurons or efferent neurons, and these are, third one is interneurons or relay neurons or association neurons. So sensory means these neurons carry information from sense organs to central nervous system. They carry information from sense organs to central nervous system. So ivaga taste, they carry information from tongue to the brain, from eye to brain, from ear to brain. They all come under sensory or afferent neurons. That means they carry information from sense organs to the central nervous system towards the brain. Motor means they carry processed information from brain to effector organs like muscles and glands. So this motor are efferent. These neurons exit from brain. They carry processed information ಇದೇನು ಸೆನ್ಸರಿ ನರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗಿರುತ್ತೋ ಬ್ರೈನ್ಗೆ ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಡ್, it is analyzed and it is carried to the effector organs where we see the action. So if the message we taken to the muscles and the muscles will retract. If it is taken to the glands will secrete. So this is about motor or efferent neurons. They carry processed information from the brain to the effector organs where we see the actions. Like muscles, they retract, and glands, they secrete. Interneurons and they are present between the sensory and motor neurons, and they carry information from sense organs too, or carry information from sensory neurons too, from sensory neurons to motor neurons. They carry information from sensory neurons to motor neurons. These are types of neurons based on functions. Next, based on structure, we have based on structure or presence or absence of myelin sheath. We have two types of neurons. One is medullated or myelinated neurons. Another one is non-medullated or non-myelinated neurons. See, so this is axon. Axon is surrounded by deposition of lipoproteins or phospholipids around the axolemma. It is nothing but myelin sheath. If this myelin sheath is present, around the axon, that type of neurons are called medullated or myelinated neurons seen in vertebrates. Seen in nerves of vertebrates. So this process of deposition of these phospholipids or lipoprotein around the axon is called myelinogenesis. That is called myelinogenesis. This myelinogenesis occurs in peripheral nervous system with the help of Schwann cells. Myelinogenesis will occur in peripheral nervous system with the help of Schwann cells. So myelinogenesis occurs in central nervous system with the help of oligodendrocytes. This myelin sheath will prevent the leakage of ions and rate of conduction will be faster. This myelin sheath acts as an insulator. If this myelin sheath is absent, then that nerves are called non-medullated or non-myelinated neurons seen in in vertebrates and in autonomic nervous system of vertebrates. So this is about types of neurons based on structure and presence or absence of myelin sheath. So next we go with the neuroglia cells. Neuroglia cells or glial cells, they protect and support neural cells and they provide nourishment to the nerve cells. They protect and support and give nourishment to nerve cells. So there are mainly three types of neuroglia cells. Usually neuroglia cells will be more in number when compared to neurons. So one neuron ittandre 1:3 ratio tagobodu. For one neuron we see 3 neuroglia cells. That means neuroglia cells are more in number when compared to neurons. These neuroglial cells are of 3 types. One is astrocytes. Another one is oligodendrocytes and microglial cells. And these neuroglia cells does not have dendrites or axon. They have processes from the cell body, but they don't have dendrites or axon. So it got name because the cell looks like star. Adike it got the name astrocytes. This is astrocyte and this is nerve cell. This is neuron. We can see blood vessels also. This is blood vessels. This one is astrocyte. As it looks like star, it got a name astrocytes. Main function of astrocyte is to repair of damaged nerve tissue or nerve cells, repair of damaged nerve cells. Oligodendrocytes and they have less processes arising from the cell body. This is again neuron. This is oligodendrocytes. Again this is neuron. This mainly helps in myelinogenesis in central nervous system. Mainly helps in myelinogenesis in central nervous system. And one more cell we have is microglial cells. This neuroglial cell surrounds the nerve cells. That's why they provide support and protection to nerve cells. This is neuron. This is microglial cells, which are microbes. They are phagocytic in nature. Phagocytic cells. Phagocytic andre they engulf or they eat microbes. Harmful microbes or disease causing microbes are eaten by these cells. So that's why they are considered as phagocytic cells. These are types of neuroglia cells. Neuroglia cells mainly protect and support the neural tissue, and also they provide nourishment to the nerve cells. The three types. Astrocytes, main function of astrocyte is repair of damaged nerve cells. Oligodendrocytes, they helps in myelinogenesis in central nervous system. And microglial cells, they are phagocytic cells. They engulf or they kill the harmful microbes that present in brain. That is about types of neuroglia cells. So thank you. In the next class we will discuss generation and conduction of nerve impulse.